Is about a man named Horace Danby who is thought to be a good and honest citizen, but he has a secret. He is a thief. He steals every year to buy rare and expensive books. The story unfolds as he plans his yearly robbery at Shotover Grange, only to encounter an unexpected person who turns his carefully laid plans upside down. It's a tale of deception and unexpected twists. Horace Danby was a man who most people thought was good and honest. He was about 50 years old and lived alone with a housekeeper who cared about his health. Horace was usually healthy and happy, except for when he had attacks of hay fever in the summer. Hay fever is an allergy that makes your nose and throat bothered. He made locks for a living and was successful enough at his business to have 2 helpers. Even though people thought he was respectable, he wasn't completely honest. 15 years ago, Horace had been in prison for the first and only time. He had served his sentence in a prison library. Horace loved books that were rare, meaning special and hard to find, and expensive, meaning costly. Because of this love for books, he would rob a safe every year. Each year, he planned carefully exactly what he would do. He would steal enough money to last him for 12 months, and then he would secretly buy the books he loved through an agent, someone who helped him get them. One day, walking in the bright July sunshine, he felt sure that this year's robbery was going to be as successful as all the others. For 2 weeks, he had been studying a house called Shotover Grange. He looked at its rooms, its electric wiring, its paths, and its garden. This afternoon, the 2 servants who stayed in the Grange while the family was in London had gone to the movies. Horace saw them leave, and he felt happy, even though he had a little tickle of hay fever in his nose. He came out from behind the garden wall with his tools packed carefully in a bag on his back. There were jewels in the Grange safe that were worth about £15,000. If he sold them one by one, he thought he would get at least £5,000. This would be enough money to make him happy for another year. There were also 3 very interesting books that were going to be for sale in the autumn. Now he would get the money he wanted to buy them. He had seen the housekeeper hang the key to the kitchen door on a hook outside. He put on a pair of gloves, took the key, and opened the door. He was always careful not to leave any fingerprints, which are marks from your fingers. A small dog was lying in the kitchen. It stirred, made a noise, and moved its tail in a friendly way. "All right, Sherry," Horace said as he passed. He knew that to keep dogs quiet, all you had to do was call them by their right names and show them love. The safe was in the drawing room, hidden behind a painting that wasn't very good. Horace wondered for a moment if he should collect pictures instead of books. But they took up too much room, meaning too much space. In a small house, books were better. There was a great bowl of flowers on the table, and Horace felt his nose tickle. He gave a little sneeze and then put down his bag. He carefully arranged his tools. He had 4 hours before the servants returned. The safe was not going to be hard to open. After all, he had lived with locks and safes all his life. The burglar alarm was poorly built, meaning it wasn't made well. He went into the hall to cut its wire. He came back and sneezed loudly as the smell of the flowers came to him again. Horace thought about how foolish, meaning silly, people are when they own valuable things. A magazine article had described this house, giving a plan of all the rooms and a picture of this room. The writer had even mentioned that the painting hid a safe. But Horace found that the flowers were hindering him in his work, meaning making it difficult for him. He buried his face in his handkerchief. Then he heard a voice from the doorway say, "What is it? A cold or hay fever?" Before he could think, Horace said, "Hay fever," and found himself sneezing again. The voice continued, "You can cure it with a special treatment, if you find out just what plant gives you the disease. I think you'd better see a doctor if you're serious about your work. I heard you from the top of the house just now." It was a quiet, kindly voice, but one with firmness in it, meaning it sounded gentle but also strong. A woman was standing in the doorway, and Sherry, the dog, was rubbing against her. She was young, quite pretty, and was dressed in red. She walked to the fireplace, and straightened the ornaments there, which are decorations. "Down, Sherry," she said. "Anyone would think I'd been away for a month." She smiled at Horace and went on. "However, I came back just in time, though I didn't expect to meet a burglar, someone who breaks into houses to steal." Horace had some hope because she seemed to be amused at meeting him, meaning she found it funny or interesting. He thought he might avoid trouble if he treated her the right way. He replied, "I didn't expect to meet one of the family." She nodded and said, "I see what an inconvenience it is for you to meet me," meaning what a problem it is. "What are you going to do?" she asked. Horace said his first thought was to run. "Of course you could do that," she said, "but I would telephone the police and tell them all about you. They'd get you at once," meaning immediately. Horace said, "I would, of course, cut the telephone wires first and then—" He hesitated with a smile on his face. "I would make sure that you could do nothing for some time. A few hours would be enough." She looked at him seriously. "You'd hurt me?" she asked. Horace paused and then said, "I think I was trying to frighten you when I said that." "You didn't frighten me," she replied. Horace suggested, "It would be nice if you would forget you ever saw me. Let me go." Her voice was suddenly sharp, meaning harsh or sudden. "Why should I?" she asked. "You are going to rob me. If I let you go, you'll only rob someone else. Society must be protected from men like you, meaning people in general need to be kept safe from people like him." Horace smiled. "I'm not a man who threatens society," he said. "I steal only from those who have a lot of money. I steal for a very good reason, and I hate the thought of prison." She laughed, and he begged, thinking that he had persuaded her, meaning convinced her. "Look, I have no right to ask you for anything, but I'm desperate, meaning I'm in a very bad situation and need help. Let me go, and I promise never to do this kind of thing again. I really mean it." She was silent, watching him closely. Then she said, "You are really afraid of going to prison, aren't you?" She came over to him, shaking her head. "I have always liked the wrong kind of people," she said. She picked up a silver box from the table and took a cigarette from it. Horace, eager to please her and seeing that she might help him, took off his gloves and gave her his cigarette lighter. "You'll let me go?" he asked. "Yes, but only if you'll do something for me," she replied. "Anything you say," Horace agreed. "Before we left for London, I promised my husband to take my jewels to our bank," she explained, "but I left them here in the safe. I want to wear them to a party tonight, so I came down to get them, but—" Horace smiled. "You've forgotten the numbers to open the safe, haven't you?" he asked. "Yes," replied the young lady. "Just leave it to me and you'll have them within an hour," Horace said, "but I'll have to break your safe." "Don't worry about that," she said. "My husband won't be here for a month, and I'll have the safe mended by that time," meaning fixed. And within an hour, Horace had opened the safe, given her the jewels, and gone happily away. For 2 days, he kept his promise to the kind young lady. However, on the morning of the 3rd day, he thought of the books he wanted, and he knew he would have to look for another safe. But he never got the chance to begin his plan. By noon, a policeman had arrested him for the jewel robbery at Shotover Grange. His fingerprints, which are the unique marks left by your fingers, were all over the room because he had opened the safe without gloves. No one believed him when he said that the wife of the owner of the house had asked him to open the safe for her. The real wife herself, a gray-haired, sharp-tongued woman of 60, meaning a woman with gray hair who spoke unkindly, said that the story was nonsense, meaning it made no sense. Horace is now the assistant librarian in the prison. He often thinks of the charming, clever young lady who was in the same profession as he was, meaning the same line of work or job, and who tricked him. He gets very angry when anyone talks about honor among thieves. This saying means that even criminals should be fair and honest with each other. But in this story, one thief, the young lady, tricked another thief, Horace. Lesson, central theme. Main idea of this story is about trust and being tricked, also known as deception. It shows that even someone who breaks the law, like Horace, can be fooled by someone else. Appearances can be deceiving, meaning things are not always what they seem. Horace thought the young lady was the owner of the house and trusted her, but she was actually another thief who was smarter than him. This story teaches us that sometimes a person who seems good might not be, and someone who seems to be in charge might not be. It also shows that not all thieves are honorable to each other. This story illustrates the saying, "You must set a thief to catch a thief," which means that sometimes you need a clever person to catch another clever person, especially if they're doing something dishonest. Like, share, and subscribe.